Is Dragon Ball Legends ending? Is the game dying? Is it reaching end of service? Well, let's discuss that. And if you have any thoughts about this topic, then leave a comment down below. Also, drop a like and subscribe if you're new. But I just want to discuss the point of Dragon Ball Legends dying or ending or whatever word you want to use, because I've seen a lot of people discussing it lately. And to answer the question, we need to like go back into 2024 firstly, because I think that 2024 was actually one of the worst years in terms of enjoyment of the game. Like for me personally, that was like my absolute lowest point in this game. I was not having fun at all, and they were dropping a lot of characters that I'm a big fan of and that I like, but the way the game was going was just draining the life out of me. And like it felt like a chore to play. And then remember, during the 6th anniversary, they announced that they have massive updates planned for the 7th year. So like they hyped this thing up in a year in advance, and then when we got to the 7th year, 2025, which is the year that we're in now, they started this new philosophy in like March or April, I think, which promised to make characters a lot more easy to use, like more defined roles, and like they made their kids a lot easier to read and stuff and simplified. And it's been a mixed bag. 2025 has been a mixed bag for Dragon Ball Legends. A lot of changes, a lot of uncertainty, I think, and it's definitely affecting the players and how we enjoy the game and how we perceive things when it comes to this game. Firstly, the 7th anniversary, because that's the biggest celebration of the year so far. Let's start with that. The part 1 characters. Evo Vegeta was not very good, firstly. Kappa's whatever. UI Goku and Caulifla and Kale, they were really good. But then, they got power creep like almost immediately. Like you don't really see them that much anymore. And they were so common. But then, by the time part 3 rolled around, they were, done dirty. And then we got like the dynamic area battles, ground battles, whatever you want to call it. That was a cool addition to the game, but I think it was very unnecessary, because what that big update did was cause a lot of frame drops and lag, and it puts unnecessary strain on the device. Like I don't think that this was a thing that was necessary to the game that they needed to add. Couple that with like a lot of underwhelming LFs this year. We got Demon King Piccolo. We got Zamasu was underwhelming as well. Metal Cooler, oh my gosh, Metal Cooler was just terrible. And then we got the lack of LF Zenkais. I think we only got like 2 LF Zenkais this year, and they were both just mid. In the case of Red Cooler, I think he was terrible, the worst LF Zenkai ever on release. And then they coming up with this next big update, which is gonna add supporters, and apparently you're gonna have to summon for these characters. They're not gonna be event exclusive. You have to either summon for them, or I think you're gonna have to pay for them in a shop. That's a big red flag, because supporters look like they're gonna have a big impact on the game. They're gonna have like their own abilities and stuff, and they're also gonna have Z abilities, and you're gonna be able to have like 6 supporters in your deck. So imagine how much that adds to your team. Like if I don't have a supporter on my team, for example, and I go up against someone with 6 supporters on their team, how much of a difference is that gonna make? And then they also talked about making changes to the Tournament of Power mode. A lot of people are getting upset already without the changes actually being implemented or seen, because they fear that the mode's gonna change. It's gonna be less rewarding, like there's gonna be less rewards involved and stuff. I can understand that, but like we shouldn't get mad now before it happens, you know. But what I want to say is like there's so many changes in the game, and it's very unenjoyable right now because it feels like the game doesn't necessarily function properly, and a lot of people feel like they are just doing what they can to get every last cent out of us before the game eventually closes shop. And I wonder if that is the case because this game's been around for like 7 years now, and to me there's been a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of the downs were things that they could have worked on but just chose not to, and then when they got too negligent, the problems became too big to solve, and now we're at that point now where they can't really move backwards, you know, they can only move forward, and I don't think there's that much time left for them. And it's a shame because I do want this game to continue and to thrive because you know it can be a fun game when they actually make it fun. The point is though, it feels like they aren't really trying anymore. I mean, if you look at how underwhelming so many Legends Limited characters have been this year and how super powerful Ultra characters have been this year, it's like, what is the point in summoning for any character anymore other than Ultras? Genuinely, because it feels like the new design philosophy, firstly, like they went, I think the only good LF character that came out of their philosophy was Kefla. You know, Demon King Piccolo was bad. Other than the anniversary characters, Demon King Piccolo was bad, Metal Cooler was bad. I'm forgetting someone else. The Daima characters were bad, but they were before the philosophy. I don't know. And there's just a lot of thoughts in my head right now about where this game's going. And I'm just rambling right now. But, you know, Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra is dropping. And maybe they've lent a lot of their developers to that game. I know Toshi is a part of Gekishin Squadra, and if you want to see a brief breakdown or history of what that game is about and what it's like, check out the video on screen. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.